2 recent lab studies suggested a reason Omicron could be more mild than other variants. They said its way of attacking cells works badly in the lungs, where the virus does the most damage. But Omicron's method is more effective elsewhere, which could account for its infectiousness. Get a daily selection of our top stories based on your reading preferences. Loading, something is loading. Email address. By clicking Sign Up, you agree to receive marketing emails from Insider as well as other partner offers and accept our terms of service and privacy policy. The Omicron coronavirus variant might be less severe in humans because it attacks human lung cells in a different way, according to 2 laboratory studies published recently. A group of 31 scientists from different universities collaborated on the project for the first study. The second study was authored by 34 scientists from Scottish and English institutes. Both studies were published in preprint form, which means they have yet to be reviewed by other scientists. The researchers said that Omicron's numerous mutations appear to have completely changed how it replicates itself in the body. Omicron is actually doing its own thing in many ways, Ravinder Gupta, a leading variant researcher from Cambridge University and an author on the first study, told Insider. The biology of the virus is not the same as it was before. It's almost a new thing. This provides new evidence supporting the idea that Omicron is less dangerous, Gupta said. Numerous other studies, and some real-world data, have suggested the virus is causing less severe disease and fewer deaths. Experts have been hesitant to accept the findings too quickly, hoping for more conclusive data. The paper by Gupta and his colleagues could help explain the difference in severity. 2 ways to take over the body. There are 2 ways the virus can infect a cell. One way relies on the shell of the virus fusing with the membrane of the human cell. This route, called cell surface fusion, is the route Delta prefers, according to Gupta's previous work. Cell surface fusion can be used only if a cell carries high levels of a molecule called TMPRSS2, which in the case of the coronavirus snips the virus's spike protein in half. An annotated schematic of entry routes used by the coronavirus shows the difference between Omicron and Delta, according to a recent study. Georgina Brown/Joe Grove. TMPRSS2 is found in large quantities in the lungs, meaning that variants like Delta can thrive there, causing serious damage to the people it infects. That is thought to be one of the dominant routes for infection in deep lung tissue that's associated with more severe disease, said Gupta. Delta's mutations mean it is much better at having its spike protein snipped than other variants, Gupta said. By contrast, Omicron's spike protein is very difficult to snip in half, according to lab test results cited in the study on which Gupta is an author. This would make it worse at infecting the lungs in the way Delta does. On the other hand, Omicron's spike protein is much better at binding to human cells in general, which gives it an advantage in cells without TMPRSS2, the study said. Airway cells have low levels of TMPRSS2, so Omicron is much more suited to infect these cells using a route called endosomal fusion, according to the study. This would make it more capable of causing infections with mild symptoms. An annotated schematic shows the location of a bronchus and a lung. Insider, QAI Publishing/Universal Images Group via Getty Images. These findings come after other lab studies observed Omicron replicating much faster in airway and bronchial cells than in the lungs. Real-world data supports this finding, as Omicron appears to have led to a smaller percentage of hospitalizations than Delta in South Africa, the UK, and the US. The results are preliminary, but they support the idea that the variant is less dangerous, Gupta said. So this is what we think ties it all together, he said. Good news and bad news. We probably need to express some caution. It is nice to see that this variant is potentially less severe. But we don't know by how much yet, Gupta said. It's also not clear whether Omicron could cause other long-term consequences, collectively known as long COVID, as was the case in other variants. Gupta also warned that it might be possible for future variants to appear that are again more deadly. The next variant could have combined characteristics, so I don't think we can be complacent, he said.